right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Thursday, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. It's Thursday, November 18th. It's time for what I drank yesterday, meaning what I drank Wednesday night. Anyways, you know, we didn't have many suppliers in the store, but I did have dinner at AJ's house last night with Darioush, the owner of Darioush Winery. One of the hot properties on the Silverado Trail. This winery started in the mid-90s, and the stone that he built the winery out of comes from Persia. Very ancient kind of look to the winery, very striking as you're driving up the Silverado Trail, something that's hard to miss. And it's located just south of Signorello Winery, another great property, which actually the winemaker they stole from Signorello. Makes great wines, and we're happy to break bread with Darioush. And AJ's house is always a lot of fun. She really knows how to throw a party, nothing but the best. And she had a wonderful meal prepared for us in a small group of about just 20 people, maybe the smallest group I've seen at her place. It's hard to keep her enthusiasm down with the guest list. But Darioush was, I was mentioning to him, you know, I visited this property when it was just a trailer, when they were just building it. And one of the things I noticed was a book on the coffee table that was entitled Shiraz. And as I looked through it, I realized Shiraz is actually a province in Persia. And this is where the grape varietal is from, this province of Shiraz. So it's not a French varietal. The French took it and claimed it in the name of France, like they do with everything, and declared it a Northern Rhone varietal. But, hey, you know, there was no grapevines in France until the Romans brought them there. So I guess inherently the Shiraz came through Rome, like everything else does. All roads lead to Rome. All right, well, Darioush is why we were there that night, and some great wines. Everything pretty small production here. I think the entire winery is about 10,000 cases. We started out with a little champagne. Why not? Veuve Clicquot, yellow label. And not my favorite champagne, but hey, there's no bad champagne, all right? A little higher in the dosage area than I like, a little sweet, but very nice. And then we moved on to the Viognier from Darioush, which this wine has a distinct banana kind of character, very tropical, very exotic nose here, lychee nuts and hibiscus flowers, and a little bit on the sweet side. You know, some of these Viogniers you're seeing from this country are in the 15% alcohol range, which tends to be a little bit overbearing. I don't think this one is quite that high, but, you know, it still had balance. 14%, so still up there, but not overly hot on the finish. And like I said, still had balance, the most important thing. You can have a little sweetness in the wine if you've got some acidity to balance it out. Next up, we had the 2007 Chardonnay, and like so many people, they've lightened up on the oak in the Chardonnay. Still has a little bit of that vanilla spice and like creme caramel note to it. But lovely acidity, lovely brightness, lovely freshness, green apple and pear fruit, a really nice accompaniment to the soup that we had, kind of like a bisque, very rich. And you need some rich wine to stand up to food like that with scallops in it, and all the food a little on the rich side. Squab, which was slightly underdone, kind of hard to eat squab that's a little slightly underdone. But the food was outstanding, and the service was exceptional. We had the Merlot, one of my favorite wines from Darioush. This is a big Merlot, and it really speaks volumes about the varietal. Lovely silk and silky velvety texture, mostly in the front of your mouth, and still very big, and has wonderful balance and elegance on the finish. And the Cabernet Franc, something that you don't see. This is something that was sent out from the winery. Cabernet Franc tends to be a little tannic. It's one of the varietals that Cabernet Sauvignon was created from. They crossed Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc, thus the herbaceous nature that you get from Cabernet Sauvignon comes from the Sauvignon Blanc. But Cabernet Franc by itself can be a little bit tannic. This one was pretty balanced. It had this lovely violet kind of floral note, one of the characteristics of Cabernet Franc. And then I think we had the Darioush too. It was a little hard to tell with what they were pouring, but I don't think we had the signature cab. I'm going to have to ask. I'm sorry I wasn't taking copious notes this evening. Well, usually when I'm off of work at somebody's home, I don't have my pen out, you know, writing things down a lot of times. But I'm pretty good. You know, I've had all these wines before in the store, actually. I do have notes on most everything here. The 2006 signature cab, well, we have that and the '07, which was just released. And the Darioush 2, very similar to these wines. Lovely, plush, velvety texture, very rich. This is just a selection of their best fruit and their top barrels they put into this Darioush 2 label. They just make a few hundred cases. Very tough to come by, a little bit expensive, and for me, I like their signature cab almost just as much. All right, folks, well, that's what I had to drink last night at AJ's with Darioush. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposone, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.